What's kind of been the focus for you guys just improving defensively, kind of the things y'all kind of work on the past few days?
The biggest emphasis for us is, well, two emphases: transition defense, trying to stop teams from getting easy baskets on us. A lot of that also is the shot quality that we take, and then making sure we capitalize on not turning the ball over. And then the second phase of that is really guarding the ball, protecting the paint, like those two areas, just taking more ownership and collectively guarding the ball, keeping teams out of the paint.
Yeah, how much in that particular keeping teams out of the paint is critical to y'all kind of reestablishing that identity on defense the way y'all were the last couple of years?
It's extremely critical, and it's something that we will continue to work on throughout the course of the season. Every day we walk in, it's a part of what we do.
Was that the focus of today's practice? I know yesterday you said it was a good practice. Today, same thing, or?
Very similar to yesterday, but we were able to drip feed some Sacramento, so we get ahead on those guys and some of the things that they like to do. They run a lot of our offense, so making sure we're aware of the tendencies of their players and some of the key concepts.
How have you seen DeJounte kind of improve as he's gotten more comfortable with the guys, just getting his legs under him?
Well, I think it's just that he's getting more comfortable. Those guys are having some practice time together. They're getting some gains under their belt. And the more practice, the more film they get together, the more games, he'll get more and more comfortable with his own ability and walking on the floor and knowing that he can get his teammates involved, his ability to get stops, scoring, but then also, trusting in guys and knowing, okay, I can go to CJ on this play. This is where Trey likes it. This is where Herb likes it. I think him and Eves have a good pick and roll combination. So he's getting better and better.
And Will, you had a lot of success against the Kings last year. How do they look different though, man? Obviously they had some players, some really good players, but
they're still a good team. They're going to be a team that is right there in the mix in the West. They added DeMar DeRozan, and he gives them sort of that perimeter guy they can just throw the ball to. He can get them a bucket, get to the foul line, or he can create shots for others. So they're going to be right there.
Willie, last season you were in the in-season tournament probably just a year ago. This year, 5-20 start. How do you compartmentalize just from 1 year ago to where you are now?
Just focus on the present, really. This is where we are. You got to embrace it, and as well as we're embracing it, we're always trying to find ways to continue to improve, to continue to get better, but just focusing on one day at a time and attacking each day with the level of gratitude.
are you keeping up with the Cup? Did you watch last night?
I watched a little bit of it last night, Oklahoma, Dallas, a little bit of Milwaukee, and it's unfortunate. We wanted to be in there, but we're not this year, so we'll take it in stride.
Do you still like the tournament, though? Or you like the
Yeah, I do.
I
do. I think it's good for the league. I think the players, fans are all engaged in it. It's fun, man. It gives you an opportunity to play in sort of a tournament-style atmosphere, and it gives you, just some more meaningful games throughout the course of a long season.
I think fans talk a lot about, end-of-game situations, whether a coach takes a timeout, whether he doesn't. Do you think having DeJounte kind of allows you to be like, I'm going to just let things play out more often than not in those situations, whereas maybe if it's a younger team or you don't have a veteran point guard, you would maybe want to take a timeout, get things organized. You think in those situations you maybe put a little bit more trust in him?
Well, definitely, we trust in him. We've seen what he can do over the course of his career. We really don't go by what fans think about how we going at the end of the game. It's really about us looking at it as a staff, as a team, talking about it. We know areas that we can improve in, so we're always working on that. But then, to your point, DeJounte is a guy that we can put the ball in his hands, and he got a good look down the stretch of San Antonio. That's a look that we know he can make. We got an offensive rebound, missed the layup. Then we got to end up getting a three a little bit later. So we got, in our opinion, 3 good looks. We just got to make them.
And with Hawk, with that particular injury, how they kind of explain to you as far as what his rehab process looked like? Because he said it's kind of a thing that's kind of lingered over time. I guess how do you kind of address something like that?
It's out of my hands. There's no way for me to address it. It's really, Hawk and our medical team and performance continuing to work together to find the best way to get him to the floor safely. And it's something that's going to take more time than I thought we originally thought. And I'll leave it up to those guys to try to work through it.
You
have several guys that have a track record of being like elite three-point shooters, but their percentages are a little bit down so far. How much of that do you think it'll come up from just more cohesiveness, like more time on the floor? Some of these guys have been coming back from injuries. It's been a lot of shuffling.
It's been a lot of that, a lot of the shuffling, a lot of guys coming back from injury. But you really go off of, their career. How have they shot in the ball over the course of their career? That's pretty much who they are. And, they can drop a little bit, they can get a little bit better. But the way the season has been going thus far for a lot of our guys, it's about now trying to get into a comfortable rhythm as long as those guys can be healthy and be on the floor.
You can kind of, get back to the basics, gain that chemistry in practice, work on stuff, be able to have those conversations about what you're seeing on film. I think it's helpful, and it's hard to get that in the NBA season because you play so many games and so much travel, but this is a nice break. Unfortunately, we're not in the in-season tournament, but it's nice that we got a little break to be able to practice and work on stuff.
How important is that, just considering, y'all just haven't had that time together with DeJounte and the rest of the guys?
No, it's extremely important. In order for us to be successful, we got to really take advantage of these types of days, give ourselves the best chance to execute, work on stuff, put in new stuff, and then see how it works out the game.
We really talked yesterday about how intense and detailed the practice was. Did that carry over to today, you feel like?
Absolutely. It was a good practice. It's always nice to get a day off. So whenever you get a day off, guys come in with a little bit more energy, a little bit more focus. It's a long season and it wears on you mentally and physically. So whenever you get those little breaks, you usually have a really good practice.
And CJ, the offense has ticked up recently. I think you guys, the last 4 games, averaging 116 points, about 38 threes you guys are shooting per game. What's it going to take, though, to get you guys going defensively? Like the last couple of years, you were rated 6th defensively. Not so much this year.
Yeah, I think consistency in the lineups will help, being able to have practices to work on stuff. And then it's just attention to detail and the physicality. I think in the second half of that OKC game, we were a lot more physical, gave ourselves a chance. Defended pretty well in the San Antonio game, but we gave up some second chance opportunities, some transition, and obviously the big fella hit some big shots down the stretch. But I think we're heading in a good direction defensively.
Does it start staying with in front of your man? I think Willie touched on that yesterday.
Got to go to the ball first, and then, the rest kind of happens.
I know it's different season, different players on these teams, but are there certain things that you guys can focus on that you did well against Sacramento last year in the 6 games that we played?
Yeah, I think we played well on offense. That always helps against a team that scores like that. You got to challenge them offensively, and then defensively, you got to be physical and aggressive. They got some new pieces. Obviously, DeMar, the team is a little different. Our team's a little different, but I think their recipe for success is the same, and ours will be as well.
And we've seen DeJounte's production go up the more he's gotten comfortable with y'all. What have you seen from him these last few games, just settling into his role?
Yeah, he got hurt the first game of the season, so he's been able to get some practices. Obviously, the basketball conditioning is different than just kind of running, filling out the flow of the offense. We've had rotation changes, lineup changes, all those things, but I think he's getting more comfortable with all of us in the play call and stuff.
And CJ, you personally, are you still learning DeJounte? His methods, what he likes to do, and vice versa with him, with you?
Yeah, we've only played a handful of games together, so each game we get more comfortable with each other. Play calls, where each other likes to have the ball at, how to space properly, all of those things.
Leaning on the vet there.
Let us know how the back's feeling.
It's good. I'm out there on the practice court and slowly getting back better. So.
How tough is that for you, like, not being able to play?
It sucks, but health is most important, so make sure I'm healthy, get my team and for myself. So.
And taking out time to go see a specialist about it, did they provide some information that you didn't have before that what was going on?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a whole lot of stuff going on in the back, so they kind of broke it down for me. So it was good to get opinions on it. So. Yeah.
And I know you said you kind of been dealing with similar issues since college. Is that injury date back to college?
It's worse now than it was in college, but I've always had back problems.
How do they feel like the doctors this time around felt that maybe your previous injuries were the same issue? Like, what was it called, the annual fissure or something like that?
I believe so. So, yeah.
And what can you do for it? Reading up on it, it seems like just rest is really the issue, right? Because it's a crack in your vertebrae.
Yeah, just rest.
Everyone your disc.
Yeah, just rest. I think it's the biggest thing. Doing a lot of stretching, getting my core stronger. So.
And how are you feeling right now? Are you almost pain-free or?
I wouldn't say that, but yeah.
How much are you able to do on the court right now?
No contact still. So,
And is that kind of the toughest part where it's felt like it's kind of been in and out, kind of just being uncertain about how long it's going to take to get it like recovered?
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Do you have like some kind of timetable in your mind on like when you think you might be back? Or just...
Hopefully soon. So I can say about it. So yeah.
And once you give it the rest to where it fully heals, is this something you have to worry about the rest of your career, the doctor said? Or?
Right, yeah, probably. I mean, people always go through back pain, so I just got to do the right things. On my warm-up, I try to change my warm-up, change how I kind of live my daily life, so.